Hello. Good. First of all, thank you. You've been very inspirational, helped me write a book, build a business empire, live the life of my dreams, fly airplanes, all kind of fun, awesome things. My question is specifically about channeling and receiving just information in the vortex. How to...
A lot of this creation that you were just talking about is just that, isn't it? In other words, rendezvousing in the vortex really is at the basis of all wonderful things, including what you were calling channeling.
Yes.
When you accept that the broader part of you is in your vortex, and when you go in and you tune yourself to the frequency of it, then you know what your inner being who is inside the vortex knows. So Esther's vortex gathered up her inner being and all of us, and here we all are at this frequency in the vortex, so to speak. And through meditation over a period of time, Esther managed to tune her frequency to the frequency of that which is us, which is what we've been talking about all day here today, and was then able to know what we know. So she gets the vibrational version of us. Now let's talk about this. This is interesting because have you heard us talking about Esther and her ability to receive us before? We've talked about it quite a bit over the years, but the way we have been relaying that is Esther receives a block of thought at an unconscious level and then translates it into the physical word equivalent. So you can comprehend that. In other words, it's like a radio transmission. So now let's talk about the vortex in the way that we've been talking about it. That all cooperative components have been gathered, and that when you are in the vortex and you're tuned to the frequency of it and you're hanging around in there for a while, then you know with clarity what your inner being knows. And so now let's talk about Esther's receiving of Abraham in the context of the vortex. In other words, isn't it logical that when she's in the vortex and when her vibration is at the frequency of that which is us, that what we know would be that which she knows?
Yes. I think what I'm trying to ask or say is I receive a lot of information.
Of course.
And I experience it. I guess I'm trying to gain clarity. I just feel a lot of interdimensional information that
you know how we've been talking today, and it's been demonstrated in a number of different ways. And it's certainly something that's easy to understand, that you can get in the vortex and out, and in the vortex and out, and in the vortex and out, and in the vortex and out. So a lot of people who begin receiving are in the vortex and out, in the vortex and out, in the vortex and out. It's the consistency of the vibrational frequency that makes for a smooth transmission and a smooth translation of the transmission. You see what we're getting at?
Would you recommend meditation as a way to receive that information? I mean, specifically just...
We recommend meditation as the process by which you incrementally release vibrational resistance. And in the releasing of vibrational resistance, the vortex trains you into compatible vibrational harmonic frequency, and when you're in alignment with that which is your source, then you are a clear channel, so to speak, for that information. But a lot of people, they have occasional moments of enlightenment or alignment, but then in the same way that we've been talking here today, they don't stay consistently in. Esther has noticed that in an environment like this, first of all, she's been doing it for a long time. And next, her expectation and yours makes for a smooth transition and transmission. So it's easier for Esther under these conditions than when she sits in her living room to take book dictation. When she's taking book dictation, she really has to focus herself there. In other words, you help her focus here.
Okay.
By the power of your summoning, so to speak.
Okay.
So just remember that what you're receiving is perspective of source. So if your goal in the channeling or in the interaction is to receive an answer to a question, and the question is really active within you, or a solution to a problem and the problem is really active within you, well, this isn't the right moment in time for you to receive the answer, because the answer is a different frequency than the question, or the solution is a different frequency than the problem. But sometimes people push forward anyway, even though they're not in the frequency, and then what they get is a distorted or an uncomfortable exchange. So we think what you're getting at in this wanting to understand the process is, and what we would always like to say about the process of receiving in this way from source energy, is get into the vortex and then. Get into the vortex. And that's what Esther did without even knowing it. She and Jerry meditated for 9 months, almost 10 months, but for 15 or 20 minutes every day. And in that process, while she didn't understand it then, because we weren't giving her the information then, every day her vibrational frequency was raising, until one day she received very clear impulses of movement from us.
So it was like 9 months after being told you'll have a clairaudient experience?
It was that. Now, it doesn't need to take that long, and
right.
Many of you who have been listening to recordings or have been meditating, in other words, we're not saying that is the standard or the correct time. It's just it's just the amount of time that it took Esther to relax into and allow her vibration to raise. And then for quite a long while, before she was aware of it, we were offering her blocks of thought. And as she was receiving them and translating them, she didn't know that it was not her own mind that was generating them. And so one day we began writing messages with her nose as if she were writing on a chalkboard. And she knew that she wasn't directing the messages. And she said to Jerry, I'm spelling the alphabet with my nose. And Jerry got a notebook, and for several days, that's how we communicated, one letter at a time. And Esther said, it's really not a good thing to be married to the question asker of the world under these conditions. I'm not sure my neck can hold out. But once she realized that she was receiving, then we were able to explain to her through that process that she was receiving and that she could hear the thought. And then her hands started buzzing. She began receiving it in that way, and then she began receiving it in the way that she does now, all happening very quickly. Yes.
I guess it's the clear, articulated relationship that exists right now between you and Esther.
And it's possible for everyone, as
right.
All things are possible for everyone who desires.
I'm just interested in some guidance to help establish that.
Well, these are the things that we encourage. Once your desire is in place, and it is, know that your inner being is projecting thought to you, and understand that it's not about waiting around for us or them to present information to you. It's because we are all the time. Mm-hmm. In other words, we have an ongoing frequency that is broadcasting, and when you tune into it, you can receive it. When you make it personal to you, in other words, when you specify what it is that you are wanting, the frequency gets way, way stronger. Sort of in the same way that when you are co-creating with anyone, as you begin interacting and you become more specific, the more specific you are, the stronger the transmission becomes. So once you are consciously acknowledging that it is something that you want, and then once you are consciously acknowledging that it is something that happens, then the progress of it begins to happen very quickly.
Okay, thank you.
And the other thing is, don't try to make it happen. It's something that you want to allow to happen. Get in the vortex and then.
Thank you.
Very good.